Is it on? Is it on? Okay, this is Sam, and this is my testimony.
Going up.
Well, when it came to my childhood, there was a lot of trauma. If you want to be personal, I dealt with child molestation, rape, insecure for sure, to the point to where it made me become hypersexually active, where I wasn't sleeping with everybody, but it's like my sex drive was just all over the place. And it caused me to run into so many different types of men that was no good for me. And because my biological father was not in my life, I was looking for my dad in these men and wanting acceptance, that it caused me to go down a hill of depression, feeling isolated, not feeling good enough, not having that self-esteem, comparing myself to others. It would be more so like, why her and why not me? Why did he pick her over me? And it just placed me in a mindset of, I'm not good enough.
You said you just talked about your not having your biological father. Do you know like why wasn't he around?
He was just a deadbeat. But one thing that I can attest, my mother was not perfect, but she never down talked him. She never said things like, oh, he's not this, or he's a deadbeat, or he's not in your life. She just said, those are questions I cannot answer. When you're old enough and you find him, because social media was on an uprise. You remember MySpace and all of that. Social media was on an uprise, and I was 17 years old, and we were sitting in the living room, and we just started talking about my biological father, and she was like, give me your phone. Don't you have Facebook? I said, yeah. And she found him. And I reached out to him. I called him, and he did nothing but play the blame game. Oh, your mom left, this, blah, blah, blah. Just, making her look like she was the issue. And the only thing that I said was, but she didn't leave me for 17 years. You did.
So your mom encountered abuse as well?
Yes.
And when would you say you started encountering abuse?
First time, I'm comfortable to talk about it now, because at first I did not used to like talking about it. The first time I endured child molestation was before my biological father walked out of my life, because I'm from Amarillo. And I was 4. My stepbrother, who's on my biological father's side, which is his oldest son, the firstborn, I'm the second, he started touching me.
At 4 years old?
I was 4, yes. He's older than me. He started touching me, making me do things to him. And I was just, do it. I'm 4. I'm just I'm doing what he's asking me to do, because he's like, but then as a 4-year-old, when somebody tells you, you better not tell nobody or you're not going to get candy, and you're 4, you're like, but I want candy. So that's when I started to have that, keeping my mouth shut, because he'll tell me, oh, well, Granny is not going to take you to the park and all of this other stuff. You want to know the sick part about this was when I was of age, I think I was 16, and he found me on social media, and he apologized for it, but then blamed me at the same time. He said, I'm sorry for touching you, all of that other stuff, but the second and third time you kept coming back to me, pulling my pants down, so I just let it happen. Nigga, I'm 4.
How long does this go
on? I was born in 93, so what was that? 93, 94, 95, 96. It was 97. We didn't move to Dallas until like 98, 99. So it was like a year. And so after that, that's when somebody introduced me to pornography. So a female's house I went to, she was watching pornography. And that's when I was like, okay. And I was intrigued by it. So I started to sneak it around. I would, watch it on our family computer. I was so smart with it. I was clearing out the history and all of that other stuff. That's when, I was watching all type of different porn, lesbian porn, men, I was just watching everything. And from there, that's when, masturbation started and pleasing myself, because in high school, in school, I was always picked on. So I didn't get picked for dates and all of that. So because pornography was a thing for, if he's not going to ask me out on a date, I could just go home at 12, 13 and watch porn and please myself. Right. Cool. And so I was 14 years old. And so I had my first boyfriend. And I was just like, right. Me? Because I was really little. I know I got a big head, but I was really little, I always had a shape, all of that other stuff. So to be picked oh, will you be my girlfriend? Cool. I would never forget. I went over his mom's house. I was over his house. His mom went upstairs. And he told me, he was like, do you love me? And I'm like, I'm 14. Yeah, I love you. Da-da-da-da-da. He was like, well, if you love me, you will let me take your virginity. And I was like, no. I said, no, that's not right. And I was like, I have to wait till I'm married, yada, yada, yada. He was like, well, you don't love me. And because I never had a boyfriend and I've already been raped and all this other stuff, because I'm wanting to feel wanted, that's when I said, okay. And that was the worst experience of my life. And guess what he did to me?
What?
Cheated on me and dumped me. After that, after my first heartbreak, I was like, fuck it. I'm about to just do whatever I want to do. That's when I started to be very provocative at a young age. And from there, I'm getting attention. Now I'm getting attention for the wrong things. Now I'm having sex with not people, but boys at the schools, probably 2 or 3 boys, and I'm sneaking out the house. I'm being so transparent. I've done snuck somebody in my mom's house, and I was so insecure where I was calling hotlines. My mama had me on birth control until I was able to say, I don't want this anymore. And that's when I was grown. My mom was just she was heartbroken. Imagine your straight A daughter not getting in trouble, all of this other stuff. But because I was so insecure, it led to suicide attempts. So that's when I went to Kimball and I was getting bullied so bad, that's when I tried to kill myself. That was when I swallowed over 50 pills. Y'all cannot treat people bad. You don't know what first off, I'm living in poverty. My mother is struggling with 4 kids. Our Christmas wasn't until income tax season came. Wasn't no Christmas for us. So we're going back to school in the whole new year with the same stuff we had last year. We're barely, even though my mom has food stamps and all this other stuff, she need other things, so she's selling them. So we're barely even having food in the house. You got to understand, when a woman who has trauma in her life that she haven't dealt with, she's going to take it out on who? Either her husband or her kids. She took it out on us. And so it was just more so it got worse. And me and my mom started arguing, and we started fighting. And that's when I found out I had depression. So she was like, we're about to put you on medicine. So I was high all the time because I was on medication. And it was just more so man. Now that I'm talking about this is some crazy ass... Sorry, Pastor. This is some crazy ass shit. If you're watching this, Pastor, I'm sorry. But no, this is crazy. I want my person that motivated me to have like that ounce of hope was my uncle. He's a minister. I love my uncle. My uncle used to have to pay for me to get underwear because I didn't have it. Do you not know I didn't know what size bra I wore until I was 21?
Jeez.
I was 21 and didn't know about no bras, no nothing. At all. We were in the CPS system too. So for a while we was living with family members. We've always had a chaotic life. So why you got me here, Jesus? Like, cause 50 pills, I'm supposed to be dead right now. I can't count how many people I've lived with. From 15 until I finally got married. I was living with somebody because my mom was like, you can't be here. You can't be here. You can't be here. You can't be here. And it's like, I can't count how many times my mother threw me out. And then from there, so I got my first apartment. I was living in Irvin. And I never forget, I could not afford my light bill, so my lights was off. My mom let me stay one day at her house and said, you gotta go. You gotta go back home. And I was like, but there's no lights there. There's no food. Like, my food is spoiled, all of this other. She was like, I don't know what to tell you. Light a candle. That very same day she sent me home, that's when I got raped. Said, maybe if you wasn't a disobedient child all them years, you would have never had that happen to you. And that's when I knew nobody cares about me. I have a tattoo right here called Strength. And the reason why it is on this arm, because right above it, it's cut marks. It's like right here. Because people are like, why you got strength on this arm? Because right above it, I used to be a cutter. And like I was cutting myself because like I couldn't go outside. I felt like nobody loves me. I felt like a failure. And then, you know, there goes the rumor, she's a hoe. And
Okay, so when did that transition happen where you was like, you know what, enough is enough?
My first daughter.
Okay.
And a little bit about her. I got pregnant with her off of a one-night stand. And here I am, 21, with this beautiful baby. My mom wanted me to abort her, but something told me no. And I had this baby, and I'm like, wow. When I realized that, girl, you got this kid. And then I got pregnant again. Those little girls are the best things that's ever, to hear, you're such a great mommy. Oh, you're about to make me cry. To hear, I'm proud of you, mommy. Oh my God, I'm trying not to cry. To hear, you look so pretty, mommy. To hear, you're so smart, mommy. I have good kids. But them little girls, do you not know my oldest daughter read the Bible by herself without me asking her to come? Cause like everybody tells me, your daughters love God because they see you worshiping God. They see you on your face. They see you crying. They see you reading your Bible. It's you. And I'm like, man. In Genesis 28 and 15, I may be wrong on the verse. I think it's 28 and 15. God says that he will not stop until he gives you everything he promised. Everything. So yeah, I got the necessities, but God was like, girl, I got so much more for you. So when I say Jesus is everything to me, he is my savior. He is so merciful. He's faithful. He's a miracle worker. There is so many things I could say about God, especially what he's done for like my life. So 15-year-old Sam, yes, you got raped. Yes, you got molested. Yes, you know, you got your heart broken. Yes, you were homeless. Yes, your mom made you pay bills at 15. But girl, you did it.
Man.
And you got a lot of followers off of being yourself. You, by you being you. So people out there, continue to be yourself.
That's a